You don't get the life that you deserve, but that which you decide. It's time for you to decide to dominate your life. You don't do that by just having passion, you need a plan. Let's show you how you grow practically in character, competence, and in other areas of life. Welcome back to Bahati.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So, I don't know if you guys are still with me on this when it comes to, where we left off and what had happened and how long she took to realize that these are my mistakes. Because in that moment, there's a way when someone is telling you the things that they didn't like about you, you frown, and then there's a way you dismiss them without even speaking. You're like, Like, it's like, Aliku Bibi, Ayogera Bibi. So I don't know, in that meeting, so you're pregnant, there's family around. I had given birth now. You had given birth now. Yes. So, and there's family around. So, like, what's your reaction? What are you thinking in that moment?
I rolled my eyes. I was like, are those the things that you can even bring up? As in,
that important? What does
I mean, hello,
mean?
Did you contribute to my ticket?
Are you a young child?
Are you a young child? Did you contribute to my ticket? I mean, it's my money. I've given you my ATM. You've spent money on my ATM.
No remorse.
No remorse.
Just rising anger and emotions.
And at that time, because the Lord was teaching me how to listen, I used not to listen. First of all, Hilda, we are always on the defensive.
Yeah. So many, all the time.
The enemy will teach us how to be defensive. And yet a calm spirit, you will be able to listen. And it will help you to change.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to listen.
The spirit convicts you in a very subtle way.
Very subtle way.
Very subtle way. You can even overlook it.
Yes. So when he said all these things, of course I was rolling my eyes.
You've just given birth to a new mother.
I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, can you imagine those flimsy excuses? First of all, he had told everyone how he was living in hell. He had to go. Of course, he had to defend his decision.
Position,
He had made a decision that everyone was seeing, and whatever he had said was to defend him. Yeah? And let me tell you, everyone will come on the defensive. But when the Holy Spirit began convicting me, after a year, in that process of the year,
So during this year, had you just given up? You're like, you know what, I'm willing to be alone.
Actually, I had asked for divorce.
Okay.
I asked for divorce 4 times. And by the way, I have so many lawyer friends, so many, that you
how...
had
access to, immediate access.
As in, you'll just pick up and be like, hello, could you please work on this for me? They all refused. They said, the argue, we know. We do what? We touch your marriage? No way. We're not going to do anything with your marriage. Okay. We're not going to touch nothing in your marriage. We're not going to do nothing. All of them refused. And while with him, there's when he comes back to his senses and calls you and tells you, are you okay? And you're like, what do you mean?
What do you want?
What do you want?
You call this off.
Yes. And he says, how can you think of it? It is just like somebody who tells you they have a contract. How do you just stand up and say the contract is done?
Wait,
this marriage,
he was telling you to not process the divorce.
Yeah.
While he was on his...
Yeah. Okay. I said, but can you come to my parents and, at that time you're emotional. Come to my parents and tell them that you're done with me. I don't want... Oh, God.
Like in hindsight, you're like, what drama is that?
This was drama. Hilda, unajua drama?
I know.
Boy, I was in drama. See,
drama ulijiletea.
Nilijiletea.
Wewe mwenyewe.
Si unajua niko, I am a drama queen. Yani, when I was going all through this, my parents didn't know.
You're that single, independent woman taking care of yourself.
And so that is when I realized that what I had made was a mistake. And I came to realize that I love my husband. You know that if you don't love him, you don't really care.
Yeah.
That if you hear that he has gone with another woman, you're like, it's okay, it's okay.
Let me mind my business.
How many of them say it is okay?
When it's not okay.
When it's not okay.
So many.
When he comes up with another girl and passing by, then you're grabbing and you still love your husband. So I noticed, I love my husband.
Yeah.
I said, Lord, you loved me so much and you loved that man so much that if you did not love me that much, you would not have allowed us to unite. You wouldn't have allowed us to be married. You would not allow, because God will not allow it if it's not supposed to be. And I said, Lord, you love him so much, and I know he's out there. He has gone. He's off.
It's a diversion.
It's a diversion. And I took up my position as a wife. I put aside Aggie,
the proud
at Sijui Moses, the prophetess, you know, all those
the one
titles.
who knows it all.
Who knows it all. By the way, knowing it all. And then I thought I was very smart.
That was your second name.
Yo, I was very smart, and I felt like he was so slow for me. Jesus Christ. Hey, Jesus. I told you, see, I'm polished. And so I came to a place of saying, no, position. That I'm talking about position.
Yeah. Your rightful position.
My rightful position.
And that takes humility.
Yes.
And meekness.
Yes.
To understand.
Yes.
And to take a step back.
Yes. Because I remember my daughter was 3 at that time. She was a baby. And she tells me, in her speech, she comes in and says, Mama, you're a very bad woman. That is why Daddy left you.
Where did she get that from?
I don't know. And I looked at her and I said, you're right. I'm a bad woman. And he left me because I was bad. That registered. I said, with these children of mine, they are always filled with the Holy Spirit.
I know.
This must be the Holy Spirit speaking to me. The next day she comes back and says, Mama, can I hug you? You're not a bad woman. We love you. 3 years.
3 years.
I broke down. I cried, Hilda. That is when I think some of those things that just made me realize who I am.
Yeah.
I sat down. I began crying out to the Lord.
Now you're like the prodigal son.
Yes, I came back. I came back to God.
Now you're coming back.
Nilirudi. See, the world had hit me left, right, and center. Nikajua, hapapa. And by the way, not my husband. I was older. I am older than my husband. But you see, according to the Bible, he's older. Yeah, yeah, because it is from his rib that I'm made. Yeah. So, yeah. So.
Period.
Simple. So
No addition.
Everyone was looking at me as Kale mkazi mukuru. But how many years?
And let me tell you, people will crucify you.
Where? And so I realized that if I don't stand, there is so much at stake.
Yeah.
There are those who are waiting to say, we told you. There are those who are saying, we knew. There are those who are saying, how God we wished it to be. There are those who are saying, we pray.
That we have witchcraft in church.
Yes.
They can uproot you properly.
But that's what was happening.
They pray, they even fast.
Yes.
They stop eating. Because,
yes. But that is witchcraft. It's not prayer anymore. It's witchcraft. That was all happening. And I, Agnes, I was the first girl to be wedded in the clan. Not family. Tunaongea clan.
And now the devil is
yes.
fighting.
Because remember, my aunties Badiba, they are taken. Because I'm helping people out there to know.
Some of these things we need deliverance.
Yes.
And some of this information is actually what orchestrates this.
Yes. I realized that in my family, I was the first girl to introduce. I was the first girl to wed.
To be legally married. Yeah.
White wedding. And I realized my aunties are taken without marriage, without proper marriage, what we call marriage.
Yes.
Kaundoka kubye Denisa, you're taken.
Yeah.
And then when they are taken in, the men leave them and go look for other women.
Okay.
So I knew that it is something that is...
It's coming. It's following.
Yes. And funny enough, Hilda...
Kinapata dam.
Do you know that everyone knew what I was going through without me telling them?
Back home.
You wonder who was telling them. Now, who was telling them? Social media.
Okay.
The girl had put pictures of him and... My husband had also put a picture of him and...
And her.
Let me tell you
your
what the
husband was a strong one.
Yes, what the devil does is he removes that from you.
That's true. The shame and everything else.
He removes.
Yeah.
It is until he began coming back to his senses. He's like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Because he wants to put your nakedness out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with him, he was done.
To make your business everyone's business.
Yes, he was done. He was through. Kapish, ameshamaliza. But he's telling you, I'm not mad. Even when they were planning to go and have the first visit, he's like, what am I visiting? I'm married. So for me, he's telling me, I'm married. I couldn't gun. And
I am married, but I'm staying with another woman.
yes. So
so that means the seed was in there.
Yes.
All you needed was to water it and in patience and in godliness and in humility.
There could be a man out there going through that. I want you to look at your family background. Are you in this marriage to work it out? Wacha nipatie example. Sorry, I speak Swahili.
It's okay.
There is
Tumekutana.
tumekutana kabisa. There is a friend of mine, a colleague, once a colleague. His wife, thought that the husband was cheating. Thought. Mark my words.
I know.
Thought. And he,
no evidence?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Just thought?
No. Just thought. Yeah. Because, you will come and speak to me, and we speak and we laugh. And the wife says, my husband is cheating. This cannot just be. And when
you live and dream about it.
Yes.
After thinking about it.
You dream about it. So when a man who had always admired her approached her, she says, why not? After all, he's cheating.
He's doing the same.
So let me pay him. You think you're paying back. Whose body is being used?
Yours.
So what are you paying?
Nothing. You actually
who will be feeling the
pain? You.
Who will be carrying the shame?
You.
Not him.
I know.
That is something that I did, Hilda. I promised myself, I said, I will not go out to cheat. I thought about my children. Hilda, before I got married, there were things I dealt with. I had been tormented by the devil. I had been there. I had seen it. I had...
You're like, I'm done.
You see, when my body... I had seen it. And I said, if I make a mistake, first of all, to go through the deliveries that I went through, I even have scars. I have scars to show the deliverances. I looked at the torment I went through. I looked at where I had come from to even get to a place of being married and to being where I am. I said, I'm not going back. I purposed and I said, I'm not going back. I'm not going to do any of those things. Even if I wanted, it will just be for a small time. And so I spoke to the body. I now began exercising my authority as a believer. I spoke to this body.
You're going to calm down.
And I said, you body, you're not going to speak. You know, the body knows how to speak.
And louder.
Very loud. I commanded my body not to speak. I began speaking to my body.
While you knew the other partner was having the fun of their life.
I now knew. And how did I know? I came to know. I wasn't on social media at that time. Yeah. But for some reason, I saw her in a dream. That is when God began reporting things to me. I saw her in a dream. I began, I was like this chick. So I go on social media. I type in my husband's, I ask for someone's phone. And then I type in the name. And then the name comes.
Which picture comes?
Two of them. I say, Aya. Who is this? And by the way, the Aya, I'm saying Aya. The chick is hot.
I know. And now you're shaking.
And Muzungu like you. And I said,
I'm done.
Now me who is dark, I don't think I am this beautiful.
I have a chance.
That's the eye, the smile. I said,
and let me tell you, sometimes when in that position, you have magnifying lenses.
There's a
way you'll magnify everything, and everything will be cute and nice.
Yes. And that is what the enemy does.
Yeah.
And so he beats you.
Because he wants to send you more into the insecurity.
Yes.
And to fight your own battles, not to fight them
for you to give up on this marriage.
Yes.
Because you're fulfilling purpose. When you read the book of Malachi, what does the Bible say about marriage? He says, I put man and woman together so that they can give what? A godly seed.
Yeah.
And who is, yes. Now, this godly seed, who's going to raise this godly seed?
Definitely.
If the marriage is broken. Before the break, before I go back to what I was talking, before the break, we were talking about communion.
Yeah.
In the book of Exodus chapter 12, God commands them. That tells you that families had gone apart. Families were no longer together.
Everyone was minding their own business.
Because
Their
of
children,
what
the
they were
man,
going
the
through.
woman,
Yes, the slavery, the pain, whatever they were going through. And now God tells them to go back to commune, to eat of the lamb, to be one as a family. And he said, if the lamb is too big for this family, call the neighbors. That's why we say that, first of all, as a minister or any other person, make sure before you go out there to give advice to people, deal with your family. Let it first work for your family.
Yes.
Be one before you go out there. I would have said hallelujah.
I know. Some of us are getting goosebumps. Some of us.
And so at that time I came to realize, I said, now, Aggie, if you give up, there are people behind you.
Yeah.
If you give up, all these so-called family members who had said she thought she had made it are waiting.
Everything will be an endorsement.
An endorsement.
Like,
they're like, with you, the demons there, whoever is on the altar is saying,
party. No.
You know, by the way, there was a party. Hilda, there was a party.
Thrown by who?
There was a party.
Thrown
Hilda.
by who?
There were relatives who threw a party, who were so happy.
Blood-related relatives.
Yes, cousins. I told you I'm the only daughter of my mom.
Sorcerers.
Yes.
Witchcraft.
Yes,
Just...
and you were asking which demons, which altar, so you can see the altars now.
I know.
And so I said, Aggie.
Now let's talk about there is a lot of where we come from.
Yes. So when you fail, know that there is a whole generation behind you.
I know.
That is failing. My mom didn't know. How my mom comes to know, yeah? And my dad didn't know at that time. My dad was still alive. How they come to know, and I didn't even give them much information. Be careful who you tell your information. There are times when you have to go through it and God expects you to go through it. And by the way, the Lord told me, Hilda, I had it clearly. The Lord told me, you are going to go through this alone. Don't, at that time I had human resource. I would get boys to follow him. I would get boys to beat them. You get it? But I did not. Because he had to do the beating.
I know.
He had to do the follow-up.
Take you through the valley of the shadow of death.
So when you are in a marriage, before you walk out, most of us are selfish. We shall think about our needs. Because my husband thought about his and said, I'm not comfortable. She makes this. He did not, because the time I told him, did you ever pray for me? When you saw that I was angry, did you ever pray for me? Did you ever call me and hold my hand? But you opted to walk away. You opted to walk out. That is what happens. We are selfish. We never...
And in nature, as humans,
as human beings. But we never come and say, sweetie or honey. My son told me never to call his father honey.
Hey, why?
Yeah, because he's not honey that they put in tea.
Okay.
Yeah, so I call him babes.
Okay.
So, babes...
Where did those children come from? Who manufactured them?
And this is the third born, my prophet. And he said, so I said, did you ever pray for me? Did you ever tell me these things? You just walked away.
But wait a minute.
Yes,
don't take us so fast. Don't take us so fast. So you've gone through your prayer, you've gone through, there's a lot of drama.
Yes.
Who comes back with the attempt of, I want to see you, can we meet, can we talk?
My husband.
Where does that? So he calls you?
My husband kept on calling, and I noticed a pattern. He kept on calling every Friday.
Okay.
Every Friday.
At what time?
Every Friday in the afternoon.
So what was he calling about?
To just know how I am.
Okay.
I was full of anger that I didn't want to talk to him.
Okay.
So what I would do is put him on loud.
Okay.
And put him on loudspeaker. And then give the phone to the kids.
Okay.
And then,
they go away.
I want to hear his voice.
I know. But you don't want to admit
I don't want to talk to him. I'm still in anger.
So you're eavesdropping now.
So
on your own
and
phone.
then he says, where's your mom? I want to speak to your mother. And I say, why do you want to talk to me? So you walked out. Why do you, what do you want? I don't want to speak to you. And so I think when I was so serious with the divorce, what he did was to go to his father, who is a pastor, and told the father, I think we need divorce. Because he knew if he had gone with another excuse, they wouldn't take it. But when he would go with divorce, they would all rise up. Remember, he's a pastor.
Oh, he's taking them to the end.
Yes,
Wise
to the
man.
end.
Wise man.
Yes.
He's shaking them.
Kabisa.
Like, rise up.
Where? You know, of course, he had told them how bad I am. That is what we always do. I told you about the defense.
I know.
And by the way, in his
and
defense.
Now you're coming for troops.
Yes. By the way, in his defense, he was right.
I know, because you were the Moses.
Yes.
So you were bad Moses.
But to me, I had not told my parents. I had not told them. When I tell my mom was when I was pregnant and I came back, my son, my firstborn son, Tendo, was sick. At that time, they would fall sick constantly. And what happened was I had come back, Hilda, I've told you there's so much. At that time, I didn't have money. I'd taken up a loan. I was in a pyramid scheme.
You were the high and mighty.
Yes. I'd taken a pyramid scheme. Let me tell you, if God wants to deal with you, a loan.
Okay.
And I was in a pyramid scheme. Yeah? And I was seeing money there. So all my money was there. I'd taken a loan. So plus the loan, I think at that time I had 25 million shillings in a pyramid scheme, which never came back. And so I'm paying up a loan. I am paying rent. I am paying fees.
Feeding the children.
I'm feeding the children. I was in an apartment. So you're your apartment. It is not like you're...
So he was really tired. He was really done.
He was done, kabisa.
Not even willing to pay school fees.
Hapana. No fees, no nothing, no feed, nothing. He was gone.
You're on your own.
I was on my own and I was pregnant. So I'm thinking of, I need to give birth because I'm CS.
In a good hospital.
I have to be in a good hospital. I can't go to Mulago. I can't. All my kids, apart from my firstborn, all the kids, I have to go to a good hospital. And one day my mom calls me and I was tired. I had walked. Hilda, he took all the cars. I was using a taxi. This particular day.
This was really good.
Yo, this particular day.
Meeting you.
Where? This particular day, enter a taxi, very pregnant. You're having like 10,000. You have to have transport. So you pass by Nakawa. You know, at that time in the morning, Basudewo, Enyanya, Biringanya. You know, those were things that you need to pick. 2,000, 1,000. It's a lot in the mornings. So I had to do that. I have a chikapo. I am pregnant. I am tired. I have to walk from the stage to home. So I was beaten. And I sat down. I find my son sick. So my mom calls. How timely it was. So when she calls me, I pick up the phone and I just break down. I tell her, Mommy, I am done. So she hears me crying. She says, what is it? But she had heard. My brothers had told her about the social media thing. And then she kept... Yes. Yes. But whenever they would call me, I would say, oh, he has gone on safari. Oh, he's here. So they would pass by home and say, but where is... I'm like, he has gone for safari. He's working. His businesses. And at that time, business was really doing well. But this God, do you know that they stole his cars at the border in Mombasa? He lost 15 cars. So at that time, I break down.
He's taking you back to ground zero.
Kabisa.
Like, no, you're not going to build on what
Hapana.
Wow.
So we went back to zero. I remember that day I broke down, I cried. My mother cried and was wondering what's going on with my daughter. And I said, I am done. I am tired. Then I noticed, I've called my mom and I'm crying. I call her back and I say, Mommy, don't cry. I'm sorry about that. And I tell her, I'll let you know. I didn't tell her the whole story. What am I trying to say? When you're going through a phase in your marriage, in life, don't tell your relatives. Most of us are quick to run to mommy.
Going to the nitty-gritties.
Yes.
And blaming and abusing and insulting. Because that's the picture they will remain with forever.
They will remain with that picture forever. It will never.
Even when you work your things out,
it will remain.
Have the sour story.
One of my brothers even told me, how come you never told me these things? I'm now just learning about them when they're done.
So they speculated on social media and that was about it. Like,
none of them even
know what you know, stay with what you know.
I didn't volunteer information to them. And yet the Aggie, remember the other time I was volunteering information to people at church?
I know.
Then I had to learn. Then I made sure my family, because I'm the only daughter, and I have brothers.
Baby, so they take care of you.
Yes, I'm the second last.
Who is annoying you?
Yes.
You want to come for him?
They would have gone for him, by the way.
Yeah.
But because they are peaceful men, there was one who was not happy at all. He's in the USA. He did not want nothing. He's the one who even broke it down for them because I had intimated to him. He broke it down for them. So when I'm being picked from hospital after giving birth, my brother had also come with a car to pick me up. And then they're seeing him to pick me up. And then he's calling and saying, I'm late because Agi was calling me and the husband has also come. He said, what? And then he called all the names and they said, what's going on? And said, do you know? So he gave them all the information. So be very aware. Who are you telling your information? Are the people...
You're equipping them.
You're equipping them. Yes. It is until God leads somebody in your life and you can freely speak to this person who is going to pray with you. Who is not going to tell you, Muleke, leave the home, leave the marriage, come, let's go here.
And whoever says something, there's a way the brain catches on to the negativity so quickly.
Yes.
And then when someone says anything positive, there's a way we scrutinize it.
Yes.
There's a way we want other lenses. There's a way we don't believe it. But the negativity sticks so quickly.
Yes.
And do you know that someone can hate someone on your behalf and hate them more than you hate them?
Yes, yes, I know. Because I remember when he shared that with his family, one of his closest family members hated me. And first of all, she did not like me.
To death. And it's like they don't have businesses of their own, than things to mind.
No.
It's like, now you have given me a project, so let me hate for you.
And Bambi, everything bad that she had seen in me was all put out there.
And they will amplify it, and then they will preach that message. God has given them a fresh revelation.
Let me tell you, Hilda, this girl had the guts of kunipigia simu, yani to even send me a message abusing me. I remember so well, I was leaving office that day. We had a van that would drop us in town, and I was in tears. I couldn't hold the tears back.
So what was she telling you? Just abusing you?
Yani nikwambie nini? See, they have every reason to speak whatever they want to speak. And I told her, so when we had another meeting, she said...
She came for the meeting. She had the audacity to come for the meeting.
Yani wacha nikwambia.
Is she the leader of the clan?
The sister.
The sister?
Yeah. So akaniambia, what do you want with our family, but in Luganda? Otwaga zachi, family ya fojaga zachi. You see, when these words are spoken... Like, you get it, because there is another... And I'm a wife. But Hilda had to come to a place of forgiveness. But this place of forgiveness... Wait, this place of forgiveness took me 4 years. How many years? 4.
Whenever you look at her, what happened?
I wanted nothing to do. I made serious prayers, Hilda. Yani, I went into witchcraft because I ceased to be a person.
What?
Yani, tafadhali, she becomes sick with cancer. So that I go back to the prayer mountain and pray for her. Like Elijah did, he spoke.
I love the realness.
He spoke.
I love the realness.
Yes.
Because anyone would tell you any weird thing that, I forgive and let go. Let me tell you, you feel it. You sit in it, that anger, and feel it.
Hilda, someone who comes into your marriage and has never liked you from the word go.
I know.
And then they're telling you this. So it became, and you see, I carried that burden for too long and it was weighing me down. Until the Lord told me, I cannot take you to the next level if you've not dealt with this.
So how do you start? Come, I love you, I forgive you.
No. I've told you it took me 4 years. I was in office. That day I was in office, I had started ministry. And I was in office
and God is telling you,
and
whatever you pray, whatever revelation you need while you're still holding on to this
you can't break through. I received a conviction. I know when the Holy Spirit is speaking to me.
I've had those convictions of forgiveness.
Yes.
My goodness.
He was
their timing is very bad.
Very bad. Very bad. And he's so loud and clear.
And he waits you when you're in a tight position where you want an elevation, whether you want to go to the next level, and then he reminds you of what you're holding on.
Yes. And you know, when he told me about forgiveness, he told me that forgiveness is not going you to send a message or call and say, I forgive you for you did this, you did the other, you did the other, you even have a... He's not going to tell you to do that. He will tell you forgiveness. It is released.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message. Actually, one of the lawyers were passing by. I called her and I told her, please write this for me. I want to forgive. God orchestrated this lawyer to pass by and give me the English. You know how lawyers can write something in one sentence and
English.
in one sentence you will understand what the lawyer is saying. That is what happened, and I sent it.
We need to nail this story because I feel there's so many, not just nuggets, but revelations that are going to rewire how we understand marriage, how we look at partnership, okay? How we look at forgiveness, how we look at humility, how we look at taking those steps back and being able to admit and be remorseful and know that God should be the lead of our lives. I love you guys. Time is done. Chasing me out of here. But until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Bahati comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 p.m. here on Spirit TV. Bahati, bringing you knowledge, wisdom, financial and personal growth, better relationships leading to your transformation and elevation.